Hey everyone, I'm Coach Brian. Hope you've all had a great time trying the newest iteration of my personal favorite hero shooter, Overwatch 2. A new game in the competitive franchise obviously comes with changes that you may or not be familiar with. Mechanics, maps, characters, and much more were updated, and eventually we will cover those. For today though, we are going to delve into the first part of a 3-episode series where I teach you the basics of what roles are in Overwatch 2, what their responsibilities are, and how to play them. Today we will begin with the first of 3 roles, the damage role. By the end of this workout, you'll be able to understand what your goal is when playing the damage role, what job this role is responsible for in fights, and know what characters excel in different scenarios. For a quick warm-up, hop into the training grounds and choose Cassidy, Widowmaker, or Ashe. These characters are very reliant on accuracy and will assist in readying you for moving targets and proper reticle placement. Spend 5 to 10 minutes understanding your abilities with your character and shooting at the moving robots on the map. If you are unsure of the abilities of these characters, press F1 on the character select menu to read their loadout. No matter the character you choose, the most important thing to understand is that your job as a damage player is to do damage. Overwatch 2, even within each role, there are subsets of characters that excel at different parts of the same overall job. Each damage character acts within their own niche. Ashe and Cassidy, for example, are what we call hit scan characters, which pretty much means that their main source of damage is shooting people with their main weapon, rather than abilities. There are more defensive characters such as Torbjorn, Symmetra, and Mei. These characters are exceptionally good at locking down a particular area. Meanwhile, there are what I like to call mosquito characters who are exceedingly good at diving the enemy backline, getting a pick or two, and then getting back to the team. Play 3 quick play matches queued as damage and aim to get at least 5,000 damage in a game with a damage character of your choice. If you hit 5k damage in a match, play a character of a different niche for the next one. Moving on now, we will get into how to maximize your effectiveness in fights. Just knowing that you need to shoot and do damage is obvious, but some people don't understand this. One pet peeve of mine is when I watch damage players is that they sometimes just don't shoot. I've seen Cassidy players go out of their way not to shoot at a tank just because they say, well, the healer is going to heal them back up anyway. This is bad thinking. You might not know if the healer is within range to heal their tank, or maybe the healer is healing someone else. It's not something you should rely on to happen. If you can land shots on someone, shoot. Hitting shots increases your ultimate charge much more than people think. Pumping bullets into a Roadhog, for example, is an extremely easy way to charge an ultimate. This being said though, as a damage character there normally is an order of importance on who you should be trying to aim at. Assuming you are in a neutral team fight with no damage players diving towards you, your number one priority to try and kill should be support characters. If there is a Mercy tied to the hip of a Pharah, or maybe a tank, kill the Mercy. It may be terrifying to ignore the person doing damage to you or the tank walking towards you, but your job is to stop those characters from being healed and killing your support. Have faith in the support players on your side to heal you. If you see an enemy support player character with no allies around, that's just open season. If you pick that person off, then that immensely helps your team snowball into a winning team fight or significant objective progress. Play 3 quick play matches and get a kill on 2 enemy support characters in each match. And then note to yourself, were you able to pick a support player off before a proper team fight even broke out? And if so, how did that next team fight go when it was a 4v5? It's unfortunate to say, but in any game that has such a diverse cast, it's to be expected that some characters are just plainly better than others. It mostly comes down to skill ceilings and team compositions. For example, Widowmaker is an extremely potent character with the ability to pretty much one-shot any damage or support character with a headshot. This is a very strong skill set with a very high skill ceiling if you can consistently get headshots by aiming well. She really only gets countered by dive compositions. For example, that would be a Winston or a Wrecking Ball going out of their way to get in her face. Almost all of the Mosquito characters are good in their own right. Tracer and Genji are both amazing at zipping behind the enemy frontline, picking off a damage or support player, and then somehow getting back to their team to assist in the push. Their downside, for example, would be Pharah, as she is normally up in the air and out of effective range for Tracer or Genji to affect. Pharah can provide an escape for some characters like Kiriko or Mercy and just rain down rockets on the mosquitoes. Sombra does this a little bit different though, usually by shutting down an enemy support player or knocking down a blocking ability of the enemy tank. It's oh so satisfying to hack a Reinhardt's shield and watch either him or the healer next to him get obliterated. That being said, Sombra can get picked off easily by, yes, of course, a Pharah, Widowmaker, or Hanzo as well. Currently, I would say the best 5 damage characters in the game in no exact order would stack up to be Widowmaker, Sojourn, Sombra, Ashe, and Reaper. Over the next hour, play a couple matches with each of these characters, for a total of 10 matches, and note down how well you did in each of them. Which character seemed to have a higher skill ceiling? Which character was the easiest to play and which one was the hardest? Overwatch 2 is a game all about synergizing with your team and counterpicking. If you are in a match and not doing well, don't be the guy who is too stubborn to admit that you're the reason why and refuses to change characters. If you're playing Mei and the enemy team has a Sombra, more than likely you aren't having a good time. Don't feel obligated to stick it out with your character. Try something different. There are times when different characters are better at different points within the same map. To quote Bear Grylls, adapt, improvise, and overcome. I'm Coach Brian, and thanks for watching everyone, and I hope this video helped. I'll see you next time when we go over a different role. Happy gaming!